Thank you. I'm Kennedy Sankara, the opposition youth leader of the Republic of Kenya. So today, allow me give a weekly review of what has happened in the country, ranging from the executive, judiciary, and even parliament. Allow me start with the ongoing tussles or wars between the executive and the judiciary. And for record's sake, let me say, upon the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, the doctrine of separation of power was a principle that was far-fetched to ensure distinction between the judiciary, the executive, and parliament. This is to ensure that no arm of the government encroaches upon the other. They act distinct and independent. So, it is imperative that the president gives solid evidence to prove his point on corrupt judges. Maybe, the president is a politician. Maybe he might have done business with some of these corrupt judges. You never know. What we want to know is who are they, how corrupt are they, how is he aware of them, and why is he even harboring that information, because harboring information that is of public interest, especially that borders criminal offenses, is equally tantamount to committing that crime. So the president must know that he was elected by the people of Kenya not to be the president of judiciary. He is the president of the executive. Martha Koome is the president of the judiciary. That is a separate independent arm of the government. No one is below the other, but they act in checks and balance to ensure that whatever the executive does do not cross the rights and freedoms of the citizens. Neither whatever the president does not do the same, and even the judiciary. I may agree with him, judiciary is not headed by angels. Those are men and women who have appetite for money, just like you and me. So they can equally be bribed. But we need to call a spade, not a small spoon looking like a spade. So that we say, person A or Judge B is corrupt. He took bribe from ABCD person. And this is why this case went this way. So that one will be solving a problem. This element of chest thumping, that I will not respect the court orders. I want to reaffirm Okia Omtata's statement that no matter what, come rain, come sunshine, the devil's eggs shall not be allowed to hatch in the Republic of Kenya. That egg of dictatorship, that egg of anarchy, that egg of toughness, chest thumping, it will never happen. Kenya is a sovereign state. Upon the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, we understand that some of these politicians are graduates of the colonial constitution, where they understand that the president is above the law. Not in this constitution. This constitution taught President Emeritus very tough and painful lessons. It will teach President William Ruto very painful experiences. He better take his time and separate or distinguish between parliamentary majority, popular legitimacy, and respect for the rule of law. No one is above the law. So no one, even the president, is a human being. And also we've seen the talks of housing levy, and I would speak about this in regards to the ongoing demolitions. You can't demolish my house to build me my house without my consent. What is wrong with our people? What is wrong with the people in government? Why would you create internally displaced people by forcing down their throat houses that they don't want? You come and find my rented apartment, you pull it down and tell me you have to build for me a house. Actually, housing is not a problem in Kenya. The problem is jobs. And people have been talking about housing levy or housing project creating jobs. Kwani sisi wote tunafanya kwa mjengo? It doesn't work that way. So I want to tell the president, get your priorities right. This attitude of just stamping, walking around with half-baked policies that do not see light of the day, and you start blame game mindset that it is Uhuru Kenyatta, it is the judiciary. I'm not going to be surprised the next time I hear the president saying it is the people of Kenya who are sabotaging his economic policies. We want someone who knows exactly what he wants to do. Not unless we detach ourselves from the IMF dalliance, we are headed nowhere. And if in case we are moving anywhere, we are moving towards the wrong direction. The president in his Kaunda suit has been agitating as a Pan-Africanist, only to end up competing with Mobutu Seseko. The way Mobutu messed the Congolese economy through the IMF dalliance is the same way our president might likely unknowingly mess our economy with the IMF and the World Bank dalliance. Because I maintain that World Bank and IMF are financial Bretton Woods institutions that are fundamentally instituted to ensure that African economies are killed in all aspects. Good health is not their priority. Good education is not their priority. Wealth to the citizens is not their priority. So take your notes very well, Mr. President. Stop being misguided. A lot of henchmen around you do not tell you what you deserve to hear. They want to tell you what you want to hear. That is not good for our country. You can't tell us you are going to create jobs abroad and you've been defeated to create jobs around. You are forcing us with demolitions, housing scheme, creating zero jobs in my own sense. You can't tell us we are creating jobs without quantifying. Tell us that when we build one house, we are going to create jobs for the following group of people. This is their earning scheme. This is the profit margin. You can't just wake up and tell us we are going to create jobs. Job for who? Sio kila mtu anafanya kwa mjengo. Number 3, this attitude of thinking that this country can suspend the constitution and run on its own. It is like saying if you can't respect valid court orders, then you are setting the country for anarchy. The citizens who rely on the judiciary as their final solution will equally start saying that because the president and the executive do not respect the court orders, we are equally not going to respect court orders. What are we headed for? State of anarchy. So we must be very calculative in our remarks. We must ensure that we speak progress and not retrogression. It was very sad and painful moment for the people of Kenya, even after having a 2010 promulgated constitution, for President William Ruto to quote the symbolic sword in threatening the judiciary, executive, and even the judiciary and the citizens, that ile swadi alipewa Uhuru Park, sio ya kufyeka mboga. Ameshafyeka mama mboga, amemaliza na uchumi mbaya. Sasa unatuambia utafyeka kila mtu mwenye anakupinga ambaye ameenda kotini. Testing your punitive policies through a legally recognized channel, that is the judiciary. You are saying you are going to use the symbolic sword to slash them. Let me remind you, Mr. President, that symbolic sword is to safeguard our territorial integrity and not to threaten the people of Kenya. You can't slash all of us with a sword. You can only slash our enemies because they are countable. We are many. So that was very wrong of the president, was very misguided, and he must recall his statements if he's really a statesman. That is subject to discussion. I'm not sure whether he's a statesman, but if indeed he's a statesman and a Pan-Africanist he agitated to be, please recall those statements. They do not mean well for our constitutional progress. The visa-free thing is a good bad idea for Africa. Just imagine there are African countries, for the sake of diplomatic relations, I will not mention them. They've been banned literally from other African countries. And you are here telling these people everyone can come to Kenya. Umeshindwa kutupea kazi, unatutengenezea ajira nje. Unatuambia sasa watu wote wakuje Kenya. Wakuje kufanya nini? Hii biashara kidogo tunafanya, unataka wakuje wachukue. Rwandans and Burundians have already, or the Rwandese have already taken all over the business, the small business that youth can do. You want Congolese are here. You want everyone to come and take everything so that we remain hustlers. I think and I tend to believe that the hustlernomics was a principle to make the poor man more poorer. And by the way, from a political analysis perspective, Me thinks that the ongoing wars between the president and the judiciary is not a normal war. The president has sensed danger ahead of 2027 and he does not trust these judges. So he's doing anything possible to ensure that all these judges who may be a stumbling block to his victory in courts are going to be set aside before that time comes. Are we going to be changing individuals from public positions for the interest of one individual? No. So we must really respect the Constitution. The Constitution is not a creative convenience. And that's why I do say that the Constitution was constitutionally constituted to constitute a constituent of constitutionalism. It is the rule of law, pedal 1, rule of law, pedal 2, rule of law, pedal 3. There is no shortcut about it. So the president must get his terms right. These diplomatic relationships, they are very important. Recently we saw Sudan recalling its ambassador in Kenya. Congo did the same. Rwanda rejected our pharmaceuticals. Uganda has taken us to the East African court in Arusha. Congo sent away our soldiers. I mean, where are we headed as a country? Which diplomatic relationships are we going to maintain if everyone is standing against us? Could the president isolating this country strategically ahead of his 2027 presidential bid so that he can do anything he wants and no one will intervene? As I maintain and end my statement, the devil's egg shall never hatch in Kenya, no matter what. Come rain, come sunshine, kuja njaa, kuja chakula, hatutakubali shetani kutaga mayai Kenya. Mayai ya ukabila, mayai ya ufisadi, mayai ya kuua wananchi, hatutakubali. It will not happen. Thank you.